Dear friends, welcome to Theosophical Insights, the podcast of the World Federation of Young Theosophists. And today is a very special occasion. We are happy to interview the former board members of the World Federation of Young Theosophists. Welcome.
Welcome. So instead of us introducing all of you, we'll try this. So each of you, please describe yourself in 3 words or in 1 sentence. Okay, Elena.
I'm Elena. I live in Italy. I'm from Italy, and I'm 39. And I could just describe me saying that I like to go deeper in everything. I mean, I like to understand things. I like to go deeper in my understanding of life, and I want to know myself. This is for me. I'm a seeker of the truth of myself, my own truth.
Chris?
Hello, everyone. I'm Christopher C. from the Philippines. So 3 words. The first one, I would say I'm pretty disciplined. If I'm going to do something and I schedule it, I usually am able to follow through unless it's really something difficult or something that's impossible. Most people say that I'm a very jolly person, that I'm always smiling, that I'm always happy. And I guess similar to Elena, I am very reflective. I like to ponder a lot. And contrary to what people think, I'm actually quite introverted. So although you would see me with a lot of people or going to a lot of events, but I would really prefer to be just alone at home, sometimes pondering about things or reading. That's it.
Brandon?
It's really tough, but 3 words. I really believe that love conquers all. And I think that's really at the core of who I am.
Seth?
Yeah, I'm 31, from the United States, and I think that what I want to know most is why things are the way they are, not necessarily how or what. And that brought me to the TS.
Catalina?
Okay, I'm Catalina from Colombia, living in India, but I really consider myself a kind of citizen of the world. And I really deeply believe in the transformative power of love, compassion, and service. They are the tools to transform this world, and I guess that's all. And I am a free spirit and childish spirit, even if I am not so young, but my spirit is always the one of a child. That's all.
Sarah?
Hello, I'm originally from Spain, but now I'm living in Nadia. I would say that I am a person who perseveres, and I value simplicity and beauty. And yeah, over time, I think I appreciate life and its mysteries. So deepening into the wonders of life.
Okay.
So 3 words. Yeah, I'm America. I'm also living now in Adyar. Like Brandon and Catalina mentioned, love. Love was like one of the first ones that came to my mind, to have that like towards the life and everybody you meet. Inspiration, like something that inspires you to study or go further or create or do some things. I think inspiration is the word that takes all of it together. And I would have said giving, but service is also nice. I recently read this beautiful thought that the physical body is growing by taking, but our spirit grows by giving. So I think the service is also like one of them. I don't know if that for me, but I very much like those words. Yeah.
Thank you very much, dear friends. And we were thinking that many people who will watch this episode may not know much about World Federation of Young Theosophists, because not only the members may watch. So we would like to ask you to explain the World Federation of Young Theosophists, how you see it and how you feel it, and what's good about it. Why basically are we doing it? Maybe we can start in the order I see you in the screen, because I think we have different orders. Brandon, could you start, please? What is it to you?
To me, I think what inspired me was coming together to serve the cause of truth, the cause of unity and solidarity of humanity. So it's all about that togetherness and that joy that you have when you serve together and you live together and you overcome challenges together. I think, yeah, that's what the WFYT means to me.
Thank you. And Chris?
When I started my journey in studying theosophy, I was way back in my 20s. So at that time, when I joined lodge meetings or even public events, there were very few young people there. Actually, there's none actually. And sometime after I got accustomed to the teachings, I started to give talks and give lectures. And when people saw that there was a young person who's actually talking about these things, that's when other young people came in. So for me, that in a way is like WFYT on a larger scale. So there's very few young people individually among the different lodges, but we come together, and in that spirit of unity and in that same spirit of freedom of thought that the TS is very proud of, we come together as one, and hopefully we'll be able to have like a magnetic center that will draw other young people towards theosophy through this. How do we say it? It's not really a separate organization, but it's a part of that of the Theosophical Society.
And Seth?
Yeah, kind of like they both just said. I think one reason for the WFYT is kind of practical. Most people in the TS are older, so this helps the Theosophical Society survive, to have this nucleus of younger people who are going to be around when the majority of the people eventually, leave this incarnation. The other one is that I think it's really important that we have a group of people who are young and in touch with each other across the world, who are all dealing with these same similar spiritual things at the same time. Because in the world we live in, it's primarily materialistic, and otherwise all of us on this path could feel pretty much alone, with the only other people interested on this path that we see around us being generations ahead, and that can be a huge culture gap.
Thank you. And Catalina?
Me, the World Election of Young Theosophists is like an opportunity for getting together to share, create community, and as Christopher said, and all were mentioning, to have like a kind of hub to allow young people like-minded and with common interests to come together, to grow together, to transform ourselves together, and to become like a kind of spiritual family. I think in these new times, these kind of spaces are very important for the propagation of any kind of spiritual philosophy. And also, I think, even though theosophy is this ancient wisdom that is ageless, is the ageless wisdom, I think a community of young seekers can play a very important and useful role in I don't know if it is a proper word, adequating or like adapting the ways to propagate theosophy for the new generations, for the new necessities, for the new demands of the current world. So I think it's a very good opportunity for all of us to grow together and propagate this ancient wisdom. It's a beautiful family, ultimately.
Thank you, Catalina. Sarah?
Well, I think now I will repeat because everyone have said some little ideas, but I agree with everything. Basically, it's a movement of young theosophists who, well, it was reactivated pretty recently, and it was because there was this group of people who were, sharing a common interest, because there is this inner maybe need to find kind of a place where this thing, the theosophy and what the spiritual teachings can be discussed, can be relatable in a practical way. And also what Catalina mentioned about creating community with the international youth gatherings that we have been holding. It's been a great experience for many. So yes, those would be the main ideas.
Thank you, Sarah. Merike?
Yes, so much has been said. I got goosebumps when Catalina said about spiritual family. I so much agree with that. This is what I feel. When we first met 2 years ago in Northern, a little bit more than 2 years ago in Northern, then I really felt kind of connection that I didn't have felt before. Even in my own lodge, where I right away know that this is like my home. And it was like wonderful. You have 30 people around. I think everyone except one person I met that I met first time there, and you could talk to anybody in any subject, and we had many interesting conversation in the evenings about a lot of things. And yes, we are learning a little bit the same things, but we are learning so many different things. And I can see how much it could enrich us to know what others are doing and start doing something together, or learn something together, or learn from each other, or do some art form together, or how powerful it was to say mantras with Elena in the forest. And wow, like there was so many, or in the morning have a meditation circle together, like, yeah. So then I really understand that this is something that must be more brought to the world, not like only this 2 times that we are meeting in this year while we are young Theosophists. We should brought it into our lives and lives of many people who are ready and want this kind of connection. And not only as we are young Theosophists, but this connection must grow on from young Theosophists. It begins here because maybe we are more open or whatever reason, but my strong belief in this is something that must grow on. And those relationships and this family, spiritual family, this must also go on.
Thank you very much, Merike. And Elena?
Okay, you already expressed very nicely all my thoughts, so I just can repeat what you already said, because I think it's a very nice tool for young people to get in touch with like-minded people with the same values, and to understand ourselves even better, because we can understand ourselves only through the meeting with the other. So in this case, we can meet like-minded people, so that with the same values, and we can have this kind of confrontation on the same line. And this is very precious, I think.
Thank you, Elena.
I totally agree with all of you. And this kind of a spiritual family for the youth, I feel is very important in the TS as well as in the world right now. So thanks to all of you and everyone else in the WFYT. I feel like we're shining a very bright light into the world. But not just being a part of the WFYT, all of you have had a very important role in it. Members of the board, the first board since the revival of the WFYT. So what were your expectations versus the reality of the job? Or what are some of your reflections now that the term has ended?
Yeah, I didn't personally had any kind of expectation in the beginning, so I just start to do what I was considering it was the right thing to do in that moment. So we started building the website in the beginning. In my case, from my side, we start to work on the social media pages, building something, and I understood that it's not so easy, but it requires a lot of effort, and but it's something very nice and useful if we do it all together and we cooperate. I love to cooperate. I love to create something with the strength of everyone together, and this creates something very special and unique, I think.
Yeah. One thing that came to my mind that this is not over, it will continue. And one thought when I was running for the new board was that whether I get in or not doesn't matter, because I will continue anyway with the project that is, and if I find something important, I now have the understanding that, you know, the first board I very much wanted to be inside, and what I learned is, like, if you have an idea, if you want to do, then you just do it, or you just find a way, and you find the people who are interested and start doing it together. Like Elena just says, it's doing together and not alone, like the thing. But the idea is that it will go on, and those ideas go on, and what I had, my expectation is this is something very special, but what I learned really in 2 years that it is special if you make it special. If you decide that you take this opportunity, you can make like anything, you know, get a group of people together and start learning something that you all value. Yeah. So, and I one of the things that I like to do in now is like get this feeling to every young theosophist that they have the power, not the board, but each one is really like the leader, or each one has the initiation to start doing something or giving their energy and their contribution to something greater that can help us all. Yeah.
Yeah, we are all on the same level.
Yeah, maybe I can add that as far as expectations, I think that since we were the first board, it was like a blank slate. Like, okay, we might have had ideas, but we were free in the sense of, you know, starting from scratch. So that is also a challenge, I would say, because then we had to build the whole structure from the beginning. And one challenge would be, yeah, maybe resources, because we all, I mean, we are young adults, so we can dedicate some time, but that, yeah, everything takes time, everything takes dedication, which I think we do gladly. And then on the other hand, we were very lucky, I think, to have the opportunity to work in a team with harmony. I mean, it was, I am very grateful for each and every one of these beautiful people, because the work was done in a much nicer way, with support, and yeah, everything was positive, everything was done with the best spirit at heart. Yeah, so overall the balance is very good from my point of view.
Yeah, I agree with everything that was said. And even on those rare occasions when there wasn't balance, between the seven of us and emotions got heated, because it did on occasion. I think that was good too. It gives us time and opportunity to practice, essentially what we preach, how to resolve these things in a graceful way, which I think in most cases we did. But like the three people before, I didn't have any expectations either, and I think that was a good thing. I probably would have quit had I had expectations. The biggest thing that I wanted to get started with the WFYT was kind of a continuation of what had happened before its official reactivation, where we were meeting online and discussing things, people all over the world. And it's hard when we're young to get people to show up to these things because we're busy with our lives, careers, these different things. But I picked this thing which I felt like the WFYT needed the most, which was us meeting periodically, to see each other online. And it also happened to be the thing that I wanted to do the least. I'm a very, introverted, almost antisocial person, but I felt like this is what the WFYT needed. So we started doing that every couple of weeks, and not having expectations helps, because there were many weeks when it was just me talking to myself there. And I think that's perfectly fine. And even when these things on the outside fail, it's what's going on the inside that matters the most. These forces can help the world in ways that we can't perceive.
Well, looking back at it all, initially I didn't want to run for the board of the WFYT. I thought that somebody younger should be a nominee, so that the transition won't be that difficult, and it will also be a good training for that young person so that they can continue on with the work of the WFYT. But eventually I was convinced to join, and then I thought that I wouldn't get into the board because I wasn't able to join the first meeting in Northern, right? So I thought that people probably wouldn't know me, or they wouldn't know me enough to vote for me. But surprisingly, I was able to get in. And then when I was already part of the board, I was thinking that the job would be would be difficult, it would be challenging, because you're organizing events like on an international level, and there's like so many things to do, and you're reactivating it, so it means that you're starting from scratch. But like what they've mentioned, I'm so happy that I was a part of this team. Everybody pitched in, and even though we're all busy, if somebody's not able to do something, somebody would come in and say, I can do that. And then if somebody's free, you don't have to ask them. They'll volunteer that, I have time. I can do this for you. I can help out for this particular project. And I think that's what helped us in the long run. And then I'm also very happy that I actually was a part of the board of the WFYT, because I was able to meet a lot of people on an international level, which if I wasn't part of this, I probably wouldn't be going to Adyar. I probably wouldn't be meeting Seth in Japan. I probably wouldn't be meeting Elena, Marike, and others in Adyar. So it opened up the world for me as well. Before, I was just like cooked up that this is my world. I'm in the Philippines. I'm in Manila. I would probably travel, but around the provinces. But it opened up the world for me. Like, there's other people now I know from different countries, and that connection is something that I'll treasure forever. So that's it for me. Thank you.
I absolutely agree with all of you. And I also was not having any expectation, but a lot of motivation, actually, to work, to pursue those ideals. And there is a sentence that is like, when reality overcomes the fantasy. And here is when reality overcomes the possibilities, because it was much better of what I could have imagined it to be. I knew it was a very nice adventure that we were going to begin together, but I couldn't imagine how so many possibilities and how many presents this adventure will have in many levels of the existence for me. And it's, I guess, every lesson when you, I mean, every opportunity when you have to work together brings this discovering of cooperation, and yes, the work, of course, the work is hard sometimes, but when you are sharing it with persons with so many qualities and so much motivation, it shows you that with the cooperation and when we work together, the things are light, are easier, are happier, and you kind of learn to trust the flow of life in that path of working together with different people, with so many, I mean, all of us have a different kind of personality that complement each other, but also we have just to let go so things can blossom in that process. And I discovered a very big synchrony with these other 6 people that we worked for 2 years, that I'm very grateful to have been able to work, and I'm going to miss so much these meetings that we had. There were very special moments. And I also agree with Chris that this sense of global connection was like kind of increased, this sense of that, of course, we know there are people all around the world and etc. But the fact of being able to meet and look, even in Zoom, not necessarily together, and look into each other's eyes and share, this is something that I will cherish forever in the deep of my heart. And yes, it was like we had a white canvas when during these 2 years we put some colors, some shapes, but the canvas is infinite, it continues, and it's full of possibilities for the upcoming boards to continue putting their own magical touch. And I think it's beautiful. It was beautiful, and it's a very, also, like Elena was saying previously, a very important tool that we at some point were like kind of channels to put it to run. And it's good when we can be of service for something useful for life. And I guess that's the main thing. We were like channels of that service. We did it with all our love, and we will continue doing it. As Mary Kay, I mean, even if we are not, in my case, personal case, I'm not anymore a part of the World Federation due to the age. But I think in any way that I can contribute, I will do it gladly and with all my heart. Yes.
I'm crying, Catalina.
Oh my God. No, because otherwise I will also.
Anyone else? Brendan? No?
I think for me, what's growth into becoming a global citizen. I really feel the same way as Catalina and everyone else, that my perspectives have grown wider, and it was really eye-opening to learn from different perspectives. I felt that I wasn't contributing as much as I was learning from the different perspectives on how do we navigate differences, how do we calibrate expectations, and the ways in which an organization is run or an event is planned would differ. And due to these different points of view, I find that I no longer belong to Singapore per se, that in fact, I really want to explore the world and work with people from different countries, different perspectives. But I think one thing is for sure, at the very start, I was very clear that everyone who were elected to this board are passionate in their service for the TS. So we're definitely passionate and committed. And it's not about becoming more passionate. It's not about becoming more convinced of Theosophy and its truths. The fire is really lit in all our hearts, and we're sort of spreading it all over. But it's about, I think, becoming wiser and learning from one another and how to spread this truth, how to really practice the teachings, not just discussing them, not just talking about the applications in daily life, but really becoming more conscious. And I think our group discussions, whenever we discuss some issues, I think it is perfect practice for learning how to view whatever happens beneath the surface in our consciousness, the inner little movements that we make. We are all definitely, I think, committed and I would say almost selfless, because we're not in this for ourselves, right? The meetings can be boring and we're already so busy, right? So we're not in this for ourselves. But I feel that we learn from the inner movements under the surface, that even though our intentions are selfless, there are issues, there are things going on beneath the surface that we become aware of during our meetings and in fact during our gatherings, that will help us purify ourselves better and be of greater service.
Thank you for being with us and watching this episode of Theosophical Insights. We are available on all podcast streaming platforms as well as on YouTube. If you would like this program, please remember to tick the like button and subscribe to our channels. You can also visit the website of the World Federation of Young Theosophists, WFYT.org, to find out more about all the projects that we are doing. Till next time.